Hi, I'm here to do a review on How to Get Away with Murder, Season 2, Episode 3. It's called The Octopus. Okay, you'll see why I'm saying ew. Okay, so we're in present time. The episode starts off in present time. The kids are running away from the mansion, and Annalise is bleeding out on the floor. Her phone is going off, and we see that Nate is trying to give her a call. She's trying to reach for her phone, but she doesn't reach it in time. She can't reach it pretty much, and Nate ends up leaving a message, and we see him in a car. We assume driving to her, but we don't know yet. Anyhow, 7 weeks earlier, Annalise is getting drunk. She's getting so drunk, but she's reviewing her case as she drinks. Like, can I just say how epic that is? I always, when I was in school, I would try. One time I tried drinking while writing a paper. I can't focus. Like, good for her for being able to focus while drinking vodka straight. Anyhow, so Eve, we see as she's like going through her notes about the twins and what would be their motive, and obviously her tape recorder is how she gives instructions to her staff. We see her receive an email from Eve pretty much talking about her sheets and don't freak out, I'm just seeing how you are, blah blah blah. Anyhow, she rolls up the stairs, damn near falls down the stairs, passes out on her bed, and then suddenly there's a noise, and she wakes up like gangbusters. She's holding a vase, but she screams out, "I have a gun." She goes down the stairs, and she, brave as she is, crazy as she is, goes downstairs to the basement, and she screams, and it turns out that it's a rat. She asks Wes, because Frank wasn't picking up his phone, to come and handle it. Wes does a creepy thing, which is put a cover over it and bash its skull in. Like, anyhow, as Wes is walking, like, how does he just kill like a poor defensive creature like that? Yeah, it's in pain, but sweet fancy Moses. Anyhow, as she's walking Wes out of her house, he says he wasn't sleeping anyway, don't worry about it. And she was like, oh, is it Rebecca, do you miss her? And he's like, no. Do you miss and she thought, oh no, I don't miss Sam. And he's like, Nate. And she looks at him, she's like, you better get some sleep before class, and pretty much closes the door. Anyhow, the next scene is Annalise in her classroom talking about the correlation between sex and criminal law, where a lot of actions, murders, reasons, reasons for killing, what have you, starts off with sex. And so we see different scenes, like we see all the kids and what they're going through and their relationships. Michaela is making out with that hottie Levi with the blue eyes and the body, and she tells him to get out because she's not a 3-day hookup type of girl. We see Asher is still with Bonnie, but he arrived at her apartment late, and he does this cute elephant thing. But we also see that he received a message from somebody, and he's all aggravated about this message. We also see Connor and Oliver celebrating how this is his last day. This is Connor's last day on his antiviral medication. And we see Frank and Laurel kind of discuss like what their situation is, and how Frank is like, oh, you don't want to get to know me because you'll fall in love. Like, boring. I'm sorry, Frank and Laurel are boring to me, even though Frank is hot. It's the beard. It's really sexy. Anyhow, the central case is Annalise is defending a dominatrix who she, I guess, sucks somebody to death. Like she him to death, and it's like manslaughter. And so she's trying to prove that she didn't kill it. This woman runs a sex club. What's the sex club called? I'm sorry, I didn't write down her name. I know the victim is Dominique. I forgot her name. Tanya, I think. Anyhow, so she's trying to get the client list from Tanya. Tanya is like, anonymity, we can't expose their names. But Annalise is like, if you want to go to jail, hey, we could just do this. You could go to jail. And so she ends up giving, my cat's acting crazy over here. She ends up giving the list, and the kids disperse and try to talk to the people who were at the party to show that it was just regular sex and it wasn't anything out of the norm that killed the man. Anyhow, the person that Connor interviewed was significant because she invites Connor. She is coming onto him strong. laying the pimp hand strong. She invites him to a private party, which plays a role later on in the episode. Anyhow, as they're gathering information and in general about what they discovered and how nobody's going to testify on behalf of Tanya. Hedgie, I'm so sorry. As they're gathering information about Tanya's case, a picture surfaces about the twins kissing, and it's in the tabloid. So Annalise goes to confront the twins about this situation and saying that you're incestuous, and the twins are indignant, saying we're not incestuous. Caleb's like, I was comforting my sister, and I could fire you, and Annalise is like, okay, bet, whatever. They go back to Annalise's house, and the kids are talking about the twins and sex, and Michaela reveals that she's never had an orgasm. Yeah, which I thought was really sad. How old is she? Anywho, Michaela, like, not with yourself? Is that too much? A little bit, but not with yourself, double click your mouse. Anywho, I shouldn't be advocating that. We're grown here, right? Okay, whatever. So, maybe not. I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube or whatever. I guess I should put a warning on this bad boy. Anywho, Anna sends Frank. Oh, Michaela and Connor go to the personal party, trying to convince the girl to testify. Sorry, I'm gonna take this away from him. Sorry. Yeah, now he's like, well, why are you taking away my toy? Anywho, so Michaela and Connor go to try to get the girl to testify, and she reveals to them that apparently for the sex party they switch cards to show who they're going to sleep with. She switched cards with Tanya so that she could Tanya could sleep with the victim. Annalise sends Frank to find out who sent the picture to the prosecutor Sinclair, and also to find out what's the situation with Nate. Frank also said that he can't find her recorder. He didn't know that she wanted him to do this. So, Annalise uses the dominatrix ledger to blackmail the chief of police. She forged Tanya's handwriting and put his daughter's name in it, brought it to the police station and says, I want a job, your daughter's in this book. She pretty much blackmails him. And so we find out later that he offers Nate a job, but I'll get to that later. Okay, so where are we going? So we find out Annalise confronts her client about how she switched cards and that she obviously did it. It was her intention to sleep with the victim, and she admits that she gave him nitroglycerin and used with Viagra, it could cause a heart attack, and she did it on purpose so that his wife, because he wasn't going to leave his wife, she was in love with him, would find out that he's going to sex parties and that he's a deviant, and she would leave him. Unfortunately, he dies. So, well, a little moment, Anna confronts her, the girl admits it, Anna kicks her out. We see Laurel and Frank doing an impersonal 20 questions. Their relationship is like, they're so impersonal, like, I don't like them together. And Frank pretty much says that he had a great childhood, he had great parents, but he does bad things, and he's all weird and mysterious about it. Anyhow, Asher meets up with Emily Sinclair, the prosecutor, and we find out that Asher was the one who was the rat at the beginning of the episode, and that he stole Annalise's recorder, and that's how Sinclair knew enough to get the pictures of the twins kissing, and pretty much knows Annalise's how she plans to defend her clients. And Emily pretty much brings up Trotter Lake as a threat, and Asher's like, you know what, do whatever you want, I don't care, he's not doing it anymore. Okay, so in court, as Annalise is defending her client, she pretty much says that it was murder, but she pins it all on the wife, because the wife picked up the prescription for Viagra, found out that her husband was on Viagra, and they weren't having sex. The victim's wife wasn't having sex, but found out that he was on Viagra, so she was mad at her cheating husband, and Annalise pretty much put it on her. Now, the defendant, Tanya, was very upset, vomited, and and of course she was acquitted because Annalise put enough guilt on the grieving wife. So she confronts Annalise like, "How can you sleep at night?" And Annalise is like, "I sleep alone on comfortable sheets. Get me some vodka." Like, that's it. She didn't care. Like, she just shrugged it off. I thought that was funny. I'm sorry. Okay, so Bonnie confronts Asher about how distant he's being, how he's late for dates, and they break up, and Bonnie's all depressed about it. Tanya leaves a gift basket for the kids, and somehow a picture of Michaela's dude, Levi, is in her phone. Levi is in her phone. Wes sees it and goes to Michaela's house to confront him before he goes to see Michaela. And we find out that Rebecca's eggs, and that Levi and her were foster siblings, and he hasn't heard from her, and he believes that Rebecca's dead, and that the lawyer did it because that's what Rebecca said the night before she died, or she disappeared. They make an agreement to find out the truth. But he also said, leave Michaela alone, and later on in the episode, he's still hooking up with Michaela, so obviously Levi is not very honest. Anyhow, Bonnie and Laurel band together drinking, talking about the boys, and Laurel's trying to beef Ronnie up for information about Frank. Bonnie's not telling her a thing. Oliver and Connor have sex, which is very sweet. They have a sweet moment where we realize that Connor is growing up, that he's obviously in love with Oliver, which is nice. Yay, love for everybody. Asher goes to see his dad, and he brings up Tiffany. So Tiffany's obviously the girl in the picture who probably got killed, and Asher probably killed her in Trotter Lake. So that's my assumption about what happened. Annalise goes to see Nate, and Nate says to her that he refused the job, and he just needs time. He may want to see Annalise, but he needs time. And then he closes the door, and then we see Wes is in Nate's apartment, and Nate turns to Wes and says, "I'm in." So flash forward into present day. The kids are in the forest again, and they're hiding away because that car is coming, and it turns out it's Nate, and he's in a police uniform or some kind of uniform, and he tells them all to get in his car, and they drive off together. So my guesstimation is, one, if he works for the sheriff's office, Nate, why is he close to the twins' mansion? My guesstimation is he shot Annalise. He's in the area. He knows the kids were in the area because he was watching them. He drives up to pretend like, and he calls her to make it seem like, "Oh yeah, it wasn't me. I had nothing to do with it. I was calling to be concerned." He was just establishing his alibi because I swear to God, it's Nate who shot Annalise. But we'll find out. So that's How to Get Away with Murder. So rate, comment, and subscribe. I'm sorry if I was just like, meh. It was a meh episode, and that dominatrix looks familiar. I think she was in Law and Order, like Criminal Intent or SVU or one of the, I think it was Criminal Intent. Anyhow, I love Law and Order, which is why I love How to Get Away with Murder. So I'll catch you in the next one. I'm thinking I may do another review. I'm trying to decide between Sleepy Hollow or what's that, TWB, The Walking Dead, which I love both. We'll see. Anyhow, I'll catch you in the next one. Rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. I said that multiple times, but have a good night. Bye.